Welcome, everybody. I get so carried away with that music sometimes I forget to end it and say, welcome to Blog Talk Radio. We are live in Blog Talk Radio. We get excited because Blog Talk Radio is not always doing what they're supposed to do, but they're doing it tonight, and we're grateful. Blog Talk is up and running. We got some friends in the studio right now. And so let us welcome our global family, because Blog Talk Radio is open. I'm Viata in the Viata's Tiny House Village. And we want to welcome our global family because this is a global platform. We have friends all over the world who listen in and comment and send us beautiful love messages. So let us welcome them right now to Soul Purpose Healing tonight, where we're going to learn all about Maitreya. I have never heard of Maitreya, so I'm excited to hear from our guest tonight. She is the expert on this topic, and it's very relevant what she's talking about, because Maitreya is going to be a messiah of sorts to help us transform, renew, and become more conscious. So welcoming our global
Talk Radio. Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution. Join me, Naima Latif, every morning, 7 a.m. to 9 a.m. Central Standard Time, as we bring you stimulating discussions about the issues affecting our lives. If you're listening online at www.blogtalkradio.com/the-female-solution, press the blue button that says follow and get our daily topics every morning directly to your email and your smartphone. Hi, I'm Naima Latif, executive producer of the Female Solution radio show. We invite you to call in 515-605-9325 and participate in this daily think tank as we examine the challenges we face and develop solutions that restore peace and harmony. We are global transformers, changing the world from the way it is to the way it should be. We are one. Wherever we live on this earth, we are one human family. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to extend a greeting to all the members of our family, whenever and wherever you may be listening around the world. To our family in China, Ni Hao. In India, Namaste. In Japan, Konnichiwa. In Korea, Annyeonghaseyo. In Russia, Здравствуйте. In Germany, Guten Tag. In Poland, Dzień dobry. In France, Bonjour. In Spain, Hola. In Italy, Ciao. In Egypt, Ahlan wa sahlan. In Ghana, Akwaba. In Nigeria, Peleo. In South Africa, Sawubona. In Senegal, Nangadef. In Kenya, Jambo. In Israel, Shalom. In Pakistan, Afghanistan, Palestine, and Saudi Arabia, Assalamu alaikum. Greetings, and may peace be upon you all. Join us live on the on-air radio network called 727-731-5192. We want to talk to you.
Yes, 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 yes. We want to talk to you. That's why I'm here every Sunday night and Friday morning to talk to you. But more important than ever, I want you to talk to me and us. And we say, thank us, United Spirits, collective energy, raising the vibration of this planet to more love, more compassion, more wisdom. So we want you to talk to us. We want to have a healthy conversation this evening, this morning, wherever you are, about the life we're living here on planet Earth and the cosmic energy that's influencing all of us. So, before we get started talking more, we got some more music to play, and I got to do my drumming. We do our drumming to invite our ancestors. And I just love Becca Shea. She's been with me for probably more than 5 or 10 years, maybe, because she brings in the Native American drumming beat energy of love and community. And I found her video, so now I'm playing her video and I'll be drumming along with her to welcome all of our global family, welcome our ancestors especially, because these days we need help. We need help because the psychopaths are on the move as usual. And we just want to say to them, we have the power, we have the knowledge, we have the sovereignty, and we're going to bring forth the sovereignty tonight and exercise our power in unity. So let's welcome the family of Becca Shea and get your drums out. Come on, let's do it. Get your drums, even if it's your table. And let's do some drumming and welcome ancestors to this platform tonight. Let's go.
And has blood has run some people forgot. From every tribe and language, people, every nation. Where warriors are falling, there's a resurrection coming. It's your time to rise and shine. Wake up, you sleeping giant. The wounds of injustice are being healed by the peace. Oh Yahweh is bringing us power through unity. Where warriors are falling, there's a resurrection coming. Tribals come alive. Yeah, wake up, you sleeping giant. Your heartbeat, I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. I feel it. I feel it. Yeshua, bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Yeshua, bring us together. Bring us together. We cry. Yeshua, bring us together. Bring us together. We cry out, your heartbeat, oh, your heartbeat. This is the hour to know whose side to stand by. Raise up a standard in battle for every fellow tribe. Our warriors are fighting, there's a revival igniting. Search for such a time. Yeah, arise, you blazing fire. Pray and stand firm and listen to your destiny. The rhythm of our Father moves with victory. Where warriors are fighting, there's a revival igniting. So, my soul, God, and arise, blazing fire. Your heartbeat, I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. Yeah, I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. I feel your heartbeat. I feel it. I feel it, I feel it, Yeshua, bring us together, bring us together, we cry, Yeshua, bring us together, we bring us together, bring us together. We cry out for your heartbeat, oh, your heartbeat. Yeshua, bring us together, bring us together. We cry, Yeshua, bring us together, bring us together. Together we cry, Yeshua, bring us together, bring us together. We cry out for your heartbeat, oh, your heartbeat. Yeshua, bring us together, bring us together. We cry, Yeshua, bring us together, bring us together. Together we cry, Yeshua, bring us together, bring us together. We cry out for your heartbeat, oh, your heartbeat.
Hallelujah. Oh, I love that song. And thank you all for being here and bringing your drumming in, even if it's in your imagination, we're drumming in. Oh, thank you, ancestors, for coming in and helping us through this very chaotic, challenging time that we're in. But we all love it because we were born for such a time as this. We've been practicing for all our lives, some of us for this moment. And now we're just showing forth our power, our sovereignty, our grace, our love, our power, just showing forth our power. And I might have a new song for you. My youngest son, he's 30 something. Let's see. He's 30, he'll be 39 this year. Oh my goodness, time's flying. But my youngest son called me to tell me he's joining a musical group. And I'm telling you, my son can sing. He can sing. He's a great tenor. And how we found out was my youngest son's been very secretive about all his activities. But I remember many years ago when my son was participating in a church choir, church environment, my ex-husband and I and my oldest son and I attended this church where my son was singing for the first time. And when he did a solo, my youngest son did a solo, we all looked at each other and like, whoa, we didn't know he could sing. We didn't know that. So now some years later, we're talking maybe 20 years later, he comes and tells me he's joining a singing group near my home. So he sent me a song called Unity that he said made him cry. It made him cry every time he heard this song. Joy, joy, joy. When any man cries, it was time for us to applaud because men need to detox all the trauma, stress, whatever they've been holding with tears sometimes. So I'm gonna try and find that song through before we leave today and play it for you, because if it brought this 39-year-old to tears, it's a beautiful harmony. And the really impressive thing about this musical group, the ages of the people in this musical group range from maybe 9 years old to 70 years old. That's how awesome it is. And he's excited about it, and I'm excited about it. Cry on, baby, cry on. Get those tears out and let's rejoice. So anyway, so tonight we have this amazing guest tonight. She's going to blow our minds. She's coming on in the next hour. In the next half hour, she'll be here. And I didn't know anything about Maitreya. So I'm going to do a little introduction for us before Betsy comes on about the flower of life. How many of you know anything about the flower of life? If you do, raise your hand, make a comment. Because I'm amazed at the actor by the name of Terrence Howard, how he's teaching about this flower and much, much more. So I felt like as an introduction to the things that Betsy's going to reveal to us about this Messiah, Maitreya, is something that we should all be paying attention to. And I'm going to share with you tonight some audios that help us understand the flower of life. In fact, the 5 sacred geometries that will change your life. I think I'll start there. There's just so much to unfold about um, the flower of life. And I want to just really, before Betsy comes on, just give you all that you need to prepare you for what Betsy's going to share with us, because it's going to be very powerful. And I don't want anybody to be afraid of anything tonight. Open your mind. Let's expand your mind and realize the truth. We don't know the whole truth and nothing but the truth. We really don't. And I hope that if you don't know anything at all about the flower of life, that tonight it will add to your knowledge. And I think I saw a hand up. I don't want to miss anyone who raises. Yeah, okay. So we've got a hand up in the Blog Talk studio. Let me open the mic because I did ask a question. If anybody knew about Maitreya or if you knew about the flower of life, I want to hear from you tonight because Betsy's going to be giving us a lot of deep, deep wisdom and knowledge. So let me go to the phones. 319-457. Your mic is open.
Hello, this is Kofi the gardener.
Kofi the gardener. How are you, Kofi the gardener?
Just came in from watering my plants in the back.
Wow, wonderful.
My
Wonderful.
tomato plants are budding with flowers. I was like, wow. And you mentioned about flowers. You know, when your plants bud flowers, guess what comes next?
Food.
Yeah.
Are you familiar? Are you familiar with the sacred geometry that's in those flowers? So,
a little bit. I study bees, hummingbirds. Not too sure about the sacredness, but I know. As a child, I used to always look at the flowers and ask my mother why are the bees jumping from dandelion to dandelion? You know, I was always curious. It's like, where are they getting nectar to take back to their hive? And, you know, I've been on social media for 20 years, and a lot of women they say, treat me like a flower. And I go, wow, to water me. So maybe that's a part of the science of it. I'm not a student like, you know, Carnegie Woodson, you know, the flower, the peanut guy or whatever. He used to always go back and he said the flowers and plants are speaking to him. And so, yeah, there's a connection, especially with, you know, when we put my gardening back, I kind of encourage a lot of neighbors to do the same thing. But a lot of people, you know, I go into people's houses. You ever go into people's houses and get massive amount of green plants and flowers? It's like, wow. And you just feel some type of way.
Well, you really...
Why you have so many plants? You know, and they would tell me, it's bringing oxygen into my home. All right, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Well, you have, Kofi, you've introduced a very important concept and perspective about sacred geometry and flowers, because we can start like you just shared. We can start in your garden with the flowers, the bees, the birds, but then we're going to go a little deeper into the sacred geometry. So I'm going to ask you to come back after you hear this about the 5 sacred geometries and share what you think after you hear not just the basics of flowers, bees, but what's actually in our DNA.
Egyptian symbol, the Eye of Horus. Despite existing over 3,500 years ago, the ancient Egyptians had advanced knowledge of the solar system, mathematics, engineering, human anatomy, and even the unseen world of the spiritual. If you take a closer look at the Eye of Horus, you'll see that it's actually a reference to the pineal gland when compared to our brain's anatomy. And the reason for this is because this small, pea-sized organ is directly responsible for your ability to connect to the universe. It's a mystical gateway that, once accessed, opens your third eye and allows you to connect directly with the divine. You'll be able to manifest whatever it is you desire directly into your reality, whether it's wealth, health, love, or even discovering your soul's true purpose on this earth. You may even gain access to long-forgotten, hidden psychic abilities that you possess. The rulers and high priests in ancient Egypt understood this and kept this knowledge to themselves to help keep themselves in power. But the ancient Egyptians weren't the only ones who knew about the immense power held by our pineal gland. The pineal gland resembles a pine cone, which is how it got its name. This makes the fact that there is a giant pine cone statue in the center of the Vatican that much more curious. Not to mention the Pope's staff also contains a pine cone on it. If this seems strange to you, trust me, this is only the beginning. Just click the Watch Now button below to see what other civilizations knew about the power of the pineal gland. But despite being evident in several different civilizations, the truth about activating your pineal gland has been concealed for thousands of years. There are powerful groups of people who control the world, and even governments that do not want you to have access to this information. But even worse, they're doing everything they can to destroy your pineal gland by adding a chemical to your food and water that they claim is good for you. Do you think you know what it is? I'd be surprised if you did. It's something you'd probably never expect. Just tap the Watch Now button below and I'll explain what it is. But their true goal is to prevent you from opening your third eye permanently, so they can keep this immense power all to themselves. Luckily, there is a simple 30-second ritual you can do to reverse the damage that has been done to your pineal gland and allows you to activate your third eye. But you must hurry, because they'll do whatever it takes to take this video down and prevent you from learning the secret method of activating your third eye. Make sure you tap the blue Watch Now button you see below to find out the truth before this video is taken down forever. Click on the link below this video and access the free presentation, because this may be the last time you see this video.
So this guy he does a lot of commercial, but he really is introducing us to one aspect.
Showing up on the first page of Google might not be the best for everyone.
One aspect of the sacred geometry is our pineal gland that is shaped like a pine cone. And if we start to really go within and look at the parts of our body that are telling us something very important about who we are and the transformative nature of everything, like Kufi pointed out, that even looking at the flowers, I don't think we understand the significance of sacred geometry. And that's what we're going to talk about for a little bit before our guest comes on. Sacred geometry. What is it? What does it mean? And how it affects us.
It's a term that has been around for centuries, but what does it really mean? Sacred geometry is a concept that refers to geometric patterns, shapes, and ratios that are considered sacred because of their deep spiritual and symbolic meanings. Dating back to ancient times, sacred geometry was used to design spiritual monuments and sacred spaces. From the Great Pyramids of Egypt to the intricate patterns in Islamic architecture.
And I want to remind everyone watching that these videos are for educational purposes only. I consider these to be fair use. We want to learn all we can from the YouTubes provided to us every day for our growth.
To the perfect spirals in nautilus shells, these divine patterns are found everywhere in our world. It's as if these shapes and patterns are a hidden language, a code, if you will, written by the universe itself. But sacred geometry isn't just about beautiful patterns and designs. Many cultures, from the ancient Greeks to the Hindus, believed these geometric patterns held the secrets to the universe and life itself. They saw these patterns as divine blueprints. The ancient Greeks, for instance, believed that the perfect shapes, the circle and the square, were the physical manifestations of divinity. In spirituality, sacred geometry is thought to hold powerful energy that can lead to greater self-awareness and a deeper understanding of the cosmos. It's seen as a pathway to understanding how the universe works and how we fit within it. In architecture, sacred geometry is used to create spaces that resonate with universal harmony. You've probably seen this in the form of mandalas, labyrinth designs, and even in modern architecture. These designs are not just aesthetically pleasing, but they're also believed to enhance spiritual, mental, and physical well-being. But remember, sacred geometry isn't a belief system. It's a way of understanding the complex patterns and relationships in the world around us. It's a lens through which we can view and appreciate the interconnectedness of all things. So, sacred geometry is more than just beautiful shapes. It's a language of the universe. It's a fascinating field that straddles the line between science and spirituality, between the physical world and the metaphysical one. And as we delve deeper into this topic, you'll discover just how profound and powerful these seemingly simple shapes can be. Now you might ask, what are these divine patterns like? Well, let's dive right in. Sacred geometry is composed of several key figures and forms, each with its own unique significance and symbolism. First up is the seed of life, a structure of 7 circles forming a pattern of overlapping circles. It's believed to represent the 7 days of creation, and is often seen as a symbol of blessing and protection. This pattern can be seen in the very fabric of life itself, from the microscopic to the astronomical scale. Next, we have the flower of life, an expansion of the seed, consisting of 19 complete circles and 36 partial circular arcs, all enclosed by a large circle. This beautiful pattern is believed to contain the blueprint of the universe, encoding the laws of the cosmos and the very essence of existence. You can spot this pattern in architecture around the world, from ancient temples to modern designs, a testament to its universal significance. Finally, we reach Metatron's cube, a 3-dimensional figure derived from the flower of life. Named after the archangel Metatron, it's believed to contain every shape that exists within the universe. These shapes are the building blocks of all physical matter, found in everything from crystals to human DNA. These forms are not just aesthetically pleasing, they represent the fundamental patterns and shapes found in nature and the universe. From the spirals of galaxies to the structure of snowflakes and the symmetry in flowers, these patterns exhibit the interconnectedness of all life. Moreover, these shapes have been used in architecture and art since time immemorial, from the pyramids of Egypt to the intricate mosaics of Islamic art, reflecting the universal appeal and significance of these figures. But these shapes are not merely mathematical or artistic constructs. Many believe that they hold a deeper spiritual meaning. They are seen as a visual expression of the connections life weaves through all sentient beings, a testament to the cosmic and terrestrial harmony that pervades our existence. These shapes are not just random, but are believed to hold a deeper spiritual meaning. But how does sacred geometry relate to spirituality, you might ask? This is where things get truly fascinating. Sacred geometry is more than just the language of the universe. It's also the language of spirituality. It's the visual language that the spiritual realm uses to communicate with us, the physical beings. It bridges the gap between the physical and the spiritual, the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. In spiritual practices, the geometric shapes and patterns found in sacred geometry are used as tools to enhance spiritual growth and consciousness. These shapes and patterns serve as a roadmap, guiding us on our spiritual journey. They are the compass that leads us to the divine, the universal truth, and the higher consciousness. Let's take meditation, for example. The act of meditating itself is a journey inward, into the depths of our consciousness. By incorporating sacred geometry into meditation, we give our journey a direction. We use the geometric shapes as a guide, helping us navigate through the labyrinth of our consciousness. In yoga, the postures and movements are designed with sacred geometry in mind. The human body, when posed in a certain way, forms geometric shapes that align with the patterns of the universe. This alignment allows the energy to flow freely through the body, enhancing the spiritual experience. And it doesn't stop there. Sacred geometry is also used in other spiritual rituals, such as crystal healing, chakra balancing, and even in the construction of sacred spaces like temples and churches. The shapes are believed to create a harmonious resonance, which boosts the effectiveness of these rituals. Think of sacred geometry as a key. This key doesn't open a physical door, but a spiritual one. It unlocks the door to a higher dimension, where we can access our spiritual self and connect with the divine. So you see, sacred geometry is not just a concept, but a practice. It's not just a philosophy, but a way of life. It's not just a science, but a spirituality. Sacred geometry, then, serves as a tool for spiritual growth and understanding.
And I want to just pause there for a minute. I hope you heard her reference yoga as a practice of geometry. That is such a unique perspective. And I hope that anyone watching or hearing who has had a limited understanding of yoga and who has taken on a religious taboo feeling about yoga will see differently as she explains how it affects our lives, how it's relevant in our lives. And yes, even yoga has geometry in it.
It's a bridge that connects us to the spiritual realm and a language that allows us to communicate with it. Is there any scientific basis to sacred geometry? Well, the answer is a resounding yes. Sacred geometry is not just a mystical concept, but it's also deeply rooted in the fabric of our physical reality. Let's delve into the world of science, where sacred geometry also holds an esteemed place. The patterns and shapes that we associate with sacred geometry can be found everywhere in the natural world. From the spirals of galaxies to the petals of flowers, the hexagonal cells of a honeycomb to the intricate structure of a snowflake, sacred geometry is woven into the very fabric of life as we know it. Mathematicians and scientists have long studied these patterns and proportions. The Greek mathematician Pythagoras, for instance, was fascinated by the harmony and proportion found in sacred geometry, seeing mathematics as the key to understanding the universe. In the world of physics, sacred geometry is also integral to the study of quantum mechanics. The Platonic solids, for example, are closely related to the structure of the universe at its most fundamental level. These geometric forms are found in the atomic structure of crystals and the arrangement of molecules. Even in the realm of biology, sacred geometry is present. The Fibonacci sequence, a series of numbers in which each number is the sum of the two preceding ones, is a pattern that manifests in the growth patterns of many plants and animals. This sequence is a prime example of how sacred geometry is not just an abstract concept.
Why should people join us on June 13th?
Because the game's changed. There are a bunch of things happening right now that we're all aware of. Massive inflation. We're in a situation.
But a tangible, observable phenomenon. In the field of architecture, architects and designers use sacred geometry to create structures that are both aesthetically pleasing and structurally sound. The ancient Egyptians, for instance, used the principles of sacred geometry in the construction of the pyramids, a testament to their understanding of its scientific value. While sacred geometry holds spiritual significance, it's also grounded in science. It's a beautiful bridge between the physical and the metaphysical, the seen and the unseen, the known and the unknown. And that's what makes it such a fascinating field of study.
So I'm going to pause there. And I'm going to take a break after I read some comments here. I see we have some comments, but I'm so excited about sacred geometry because some of the things I've been doing for a long period of time, I'm starting to see the sacred geometry, like yoga and just gardening. And Kufi, I don't think he realized that he was starting out the understanding of sacred geometry by presenting us with what he's doing in his garden, looking at the flowers and the bees and the birds, and they all contain this sacred geometry. So our executive producer, Naima, says, I agree, men have been encouraged to hold in sadness and grief, which is toxic to the body. Crying is releasing toxins. We must teach this to our sons. Then she's referring, for those of you who just joined us, she's referring to my comment earlier about my youngest son was crying after hearing a song called Unity, which was sang by a group that he's joining in our neighborhood, a musical group, musical choir. And he said every time he hears the song, it brings him to tears. And I'm like, whoa, he's 30. He'll be 39 this year. He's crying from a Unity song. Yay. So thank you. Yes, Naima. Yes, Naima. And for our adult sons, they're learning the lesson um, easily. And yes, you're right. We need to teach this to the younger children to cry. My grandson has no problem crying. In fact, he uses his tears almost to influence people around him to get his way, so they can be used in a different way. But anyway, Empress Regina, royalty in the house. We bow to the Empress Regina. Greetings, beautiful beings. Yes, I am familiar with the flower of life through sacred geometry teachings. Great, 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 great. Thank you, Empress Regina. And it's funny, Regina, my granddaughter doesn't like her feet. And so I thought about you and the name Empress. I said, I told her, in fact, she thinks her feet are ugly. And I said to her, listen, honey, she is growing very fast. And I said, you're going to be a very tall woman, like an empress, is what I told her. And so your feet are going to have to hold the tall, statuesque, beautiful empress. And you just got to get used to it. So, and she did. I think she felt a little better about her feet. That I said, stop comparing your feet to other women, men, whatever. You're going to be an empress, royalty. We cannot be comparing ourselves, trying to be like other people when we know who we are. We're sovereign beings. We're Empress Regina. You're Naima Latif. You're whoever, with pride and consciousness. That's what it's all about these days. So let's take a break, and then I have one more audio or video, and beautiful video on sacred geometry, how it can transform your life. Actually, going to get more specific after we take a little break, and then we're going to hear from our guest very soon. So here we go. New toxins.
Have you ever wondered why some of the healthiest people still get sick? Or why the occurrence of learning disabilities like ADHD have drastically increased over the last 50 years? How is it that the cancer rate has gone from 1 in 8,000 back in the 1910s to 1 in 2 today? Isn't it odd that even though we are more focused on health than ever before, that there's still been an increase in diseases, disorders, illnesses, and other conditions that destroy your quality of life? What if we told you that the very things you're using in your home to avoid these health concerns are actually what's causing them? If you're the decision maker in your home, you know how overwhelming it can be to keep your family safe. Today, we'd like to welcome you and simply provide you with some important information and shed some light on some health concerns you may not be aware of. Over the last 100 years, thousands of toxic chemicals have been introduced into society because of an excessive overstock of chemicals designed for warfare in the Second World War. Today, as the 2013 documentary The Human Experiment states, quote, 42 billion pounds of toxic chemicals enter into commerce every day. That amount would fill up 623,000 tanker trucks. And as we speak, there are over 80,000 such chemicals on the market in the U.S. Over the last half century, chemical usage has gone up by 2,000%. And it isn't until there are enough people hurt by these products that there are even questions raised. Does this sound familiar? On July 12, 2018, the well-known grocery store brand of talcum and baby powder company, Johnson & Johnson, was ordered to pay a $4.6 billion lawsuit. As it was said, they knowingly covered up asbestos in their product for over 40 years, and we have been trustingly using it on ourselves and our most precious of all things.
So the corruption runs deep in terms of toxins in our environment, in our food, in our products. And lately, I want you to be aware of this every time I play advertise this video, because our government is trying to add even more toxins to the load that we already have to deal with. And that is, there's this threat of a bird flu coming. Bird flu, bird flu. They're going to try and put fear in our minds again. Here we go. Because some story has already popped up of a little baby who got bird flu. The cows they're trying to ban raw milk now. And I want you to just remember who you are. You're royalty, sovereign beings. We've been here before with the corona madness. And here we go again, because big pharma obviously is not making enough money these days. So let's just be conscious of all the pollutants, including drug companies and all the government and all the others who are going to try and push more toxins on our body when they start promoting the propaganda about a bird, poor little bird coming in with the flu. So just be aware, be conscious. That's why you're here. I'll keep you aware of the BS and the propaganda. And the knowledge we're gaining tonight is your defense and your solution to whatever problems the society or the government or corporations bring. They're going to bring a problem, and then they want a reaction, and then they got a solution. Jab, jab, jab. They're already preparing jabs for the bird flu. Can you imagine that? So this knowledge, I want you to really soak in this next video if you're watching, and the audio, because this is the solution to raising your frequency above the BS and the propaganda about some flu virus or whatever, to scare everybody into submission, to take more toxins into the body. But let's listen to Sacred Geometry Secrets, how they can transform your life.
Sacred geometry holds the key to transforming your reality. Today, we're diving into a world where mathematics meets mysticism and where ancient wisdom reveals the secrets to achieving your dream life. Sacred geometry reveals the patterns that form the foundation of our reality, seen in the harmony of the cosmos, the natural world, and the human-made wonders of ancient and modern times. From the pyramids of Egypt to the intricate designs adorning Islamic mosques and even the Gothic cathedrals of medieval Europe, imagine harnessing this powerful, ancient knowledge to transform your life, to unlock your full potential and live the life you've always dreamed of. Sounds intriguing? That's because it is. Understanding sacred geometry allows you to see the world in a way you've never seen it before. It's about connecting with the universe on a deeper level and unlocking secrets that have been hidden for centuries. Geometry will draw the soul toward truth and create the spirit of philosophy. Ready to unlock the geometric patterns of your dream life? Let's dive in. Symbolism and meaning. Picture the perfect symmetry of a snowflake, the spiral of a galaxy, or the intricate patterns of a seashell. These aren't just random designs. They're echoes of the same geometric principles that govern the universe. At the core of sacred geometry lie the simplest of shapes, the circle, square, and triangle. Each of these forms is a key to understanding the structure of our reality. The circle, with no beginning and no end, symbolizes unity, infinity, and the cyclical nature of life. It reminds us of the eternal, the divine, and the encompassing universe in which we reside. The square, with its 4 equal sides, represents stability, balance, and the physical world. It grounds us in the material realm, offering a foundation from which we can ascend to explore higher dimensions of consciousness. The square teaches us about the boundaries and the structure within which the dance of creation unfolds. The triangle, the simplest polygon, points upwards or downwards, signifying the dual nature of existence, the ascent towards the spiritual or the descent into the material. It embodies harmony, proportion, and the dynamic balance between opposing forces. The triangle invites us to find equilibrium in our journey, harmonizing our earthly experience with our spiritual aspirations. Beyond these basic shapes, sacred geometry encompasses more complex patterns, such as the flower of life and the Fibonacci sequence. The flower of life, a symmetrical arrangement of circles overlapping in a hexagonal pattern, is a visual expression of the connections between all life forms in the cosmos. It teaches us about the interdependence of all things, the unity underlying diversity. The Fibonacci sequence, a series of numbers where each number is the sum of the two preceding ones, appears throughout nature, from the arrangement of leaves on a stem to the spiral of galaxies. This pattern reveals the inherent order in chaos, the natural harmony that guides growth and evolution. Together, these geometric symbols and patterns offer us a glimpse into the fabric of the universe, an intricate web of connections that binds everything. They remind us that at the core of all there is harmony, proportion, and a profound spiritual significance. This ancient mathematical and geometric wisdom even manifests in the spiral structure of your DNA double helix, which closely resembles the Fibonacci spiral. Our DNA is not just a biological molecule, it's a geometric code that follows the principles of sacred geometry, embodying the golden ratio pi, which is approximately 1.618 and found in the proportions of the human body itself. From the length of our fingers to the spiral of our hair, the symmetry of our faces to the ratios of our limbs, our bodies are a testament to this universal pattern, suggesting that the harmony we see in the world is mirrored within us. Ever wondered why we're so drawn to these shapes and patterns? It's because they speak to something deep within you, a reminder of your connection to the world and the greater universe. It's easy to feel disconnected in our fast-paced world, lost in the chaos of the daily grind.
And as I always say, these cosmic curls that many melanin people carry on their head are connected to the universe. Think, praise, saying praise and purpose for the cosmic curls on our head.
But sacred geometry bridges that gap, reconnecting us with the natural order and reminding us of our place in the cosmos. Through these shapes and patterns, we find a sense of peace, balance, and a deeper understanding of the spiritual significance that underpins our reality. The pyramids stand as monumental testaments to the ancient understanding of geometric principles and their profound spiritual implications. These structures, particularly the Great Pyramids of Giza, are marvels of mathematical precision and cosmic alignment, embodying the synthesis of earthly and celestial knowledge. The pyramidal shape itself, converging towards the heavens, symbolizes the human quest for wisdom and enlightenment, acting as a bridge between the terrestrial and the divine. The precise alignment of the Great Pyramids with the stars of Orion's belt reflects the ancient Egyptians' deep connection to the cosmos, illustrating the belief that earthly structures could mirror the celestial order to create sacred spaces of power and harmony. This celestial alignment was not merely architectural achievement, but a profound expression of the Egyptians' cosmological philosophy, seeing the universe as a well-ordered and interconnected whole. The pyramid's geometry, therefore, is imbued with symbolism. Each angle and measurement encodes esoteric knowledge, suggesting that these structures were designed to serve as conduits of cosmic energy, facilitating spiritual communion and the pharaoh's ascension to the afterlife. By integrating the principles of sacred geometry, the pyramids exemplify how ancient civilizations harnessed geometric patterns and alignments to encapsulate their understanding of the universe's fundamental laws. Their enduring presence reminds us of geometry's power to convey deep spiritual truths, inviting us to explore the sacred patterns that shape our world and our place within it. Stay tuned as we delve deeper into how to apply these timeless principles to create harmony, inspire creativity, and manifest your dream life. Practical applications. So how can you use this knowledge in your own life? Design and living spaces. Identify key patterns. Start with simple shapes like circles, triangles, and the flower of life. Notice how they appear in nature and art. Incorporate into decor. Use these patterns in wall art, rugs, or throw pillows for harmony in your home. Plan your garden, arrange plants in spiral patterns, or use geometric shapes for flower beds, reflecting natural growth patterns. Art and creativity. Create geometric artwork. Draw or paint sacred geometry patterns. Begin with basic shapes and advance to more complex designs like Metatron's cube. Crafting with geometry. Try your hand at crafting geometric sculptures or jewelry. Simple wire, beads, and paper can be transformed using these principles. Photography. Capture natural and man-made examples of sacred geometry. Use these images as inspiration or incorporate them into digital art. Mindfulness and meditation. Meditate on patterns. Choose a sacred geometry symbol like the Sri Yantra, focus on its center, and meditate to achieve deeper states of awareness. Visualization exercises. Visualize geometric shapes during meditation to balance energy centers in the body. Create a sacred space. Designate a meditation area in your home with geometric patterns, aiding concentration and tranquility. Goal setting and manifestation. Vision boards with geometry. Create vision boards using geometric shapes that symbolize your goals. Embed images and symbols within these shapes. Intention. Setting with shapes. Write down your goals on paper, then fold it into geometric shapes, symbolizing the structuring of your intentions. Visualization with sacred geometry. Regularly visualize your goals within geometric patterns, like imagining them inside a flower of life to align your energy with your aspirations. Conclusion. In today's fast-paced world, it's all too common to feel a disconnect from ourselves, from one another, and from the beautiful earth that nurtures us. However, by integrating sacred geometry into the fabric of our daily existence, from the ambience of our living environments to the creativity in our art and the focus in our meditation, we reawaken to the profound interconnectedness that binds all things. Begin your transformation now by embedding these simple yet profound practices into your day-to-day life and observe the butterfly effect unfold. This age-old wisdom extends beyond mere decoration or intellectual curiosity. It anchors us more deeply in the understanding that we are integral to a vast, harmonious cosmos. By adopting these geometric patterns, we cultivate groundedness, awareness, and equilibrium, ushering in tranquility and unity that enhances our bond with the universe and each other. This paradigm shift doesn't solely alter our inner selves, it cascades into every facet of our existence, saturating our deeds and relationships with serenity and intention. Embodying sacred geometry's principles propels this transformative energy forward, nurturing a more interconnected and harmonious life, not just for ourselves, but for our global community. Sacred geometry is far more than mere shapes and lines. It's a dialogue, a philosophy, a conduit that marries our inner selves to the outer universe. We've explored its presence not only in the sacred architecture and art of ancient cultures, but also in the very core of nature itself, from the floral whorls to the celestial spirals. Now, equipped with this insight, I invite you to delve deeper. Look past the obvious and perceive the world through the sacred geometric lens. Let this ancient knowledge be your guide in forging a life imbued with harmony, balance, and beauty. As you apply these timeless principles, you'll uncover a profound kinship with your surroundings, nurturing a sense of peace, fulfillment, and unity with the cosmos. I encourage you to share your experiences, your creations, and your
Unity, unity, unity. That is what that message speaks of more than anything to me. How we of the collective human beings on this planet can become more conscious of our surroundings and how we are all one. And then bringing in that consciousness of unity, unity, unity to whatever we're learning, whatever we're thinking. Oh, it's so awesome to be alive today because we're learning new things. And let me just read a couple of comments here. Empress Regina says, wonderful encouragement and honor to your granddaughter. Yeah, thank you, Empress. Yeah, these children are such good teachers for me, helping me be more creative. I'm actually teaching my grandchildren how to sew. Boy, is that interesting. Just pinning the pattern. Talk about patterns of sacred geometry. They're learning just in the first steps of sewing, actually a pattern. You have to have a pattern to lay down on the cloth. And then both of them learned how to pin the pattern on the cloth. That was a challenge for even my granddaughter. She couldn't get the pin under. But once they got the first steps of the pattern and the cutting out the shape of it, boy, we're rolling now. And so I ended up sewing these two tops together. And what happened is they're not a stretchy material because I'm trying to get them into cotton and not polyester. So what we decided to do is we're going to make a vest because they had trouble getting it over their head. So the creator in me said, okay, why don't you just cut it down the middle, and we're going to do a fancy little strip in the front and make a vest instead of a top. So patterns, creation, geometry. And tonight we want to talk about something that maybe many of you are not familiar with, and that is Maitreya. We're going to bring in, I see my guest is here. So I'm going to bring in my guest, Betsy, Whitfill, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Welcome, Betsy. It's really so nice to have you here. How are you this evening or this morning? Yeah, you're in evening time, right?
Yes. I'm really well. I have a little allergy going on, so if I have to clear my throat from time to time. But it's great to be here. Thank you for having me.
Okay, you got a glass of water there or some tea. Listen, honey, I got my throat tea here. We need that. Yeah, I have the gift of gab, and that this throat just gets dry from too much gabbing. So I'm really excited to hear from you tonight, and my guests are too, because I've been telling them about this wonderful new knowledge that you're going to share with us. So welcome, Betsy. Nice to have you. Will you please tell our listening audience a little bit about yourself, where you're from, where you started, your family life, and that type of thing?
Yes, thank you. I was born in New Jersey and lived there until after college. And I'm one of 4 children. And I grew up in the Catholic Church.
Oh, boy.
Yes. Yes. And pretty much a normal childhood, with 4 children. There was always something going on. And at one point, we lived down the road from a woman who had horses in Roseland, New Jersey. And she taught me how to ride if I would help her in the stable. So I spent a lot of time batting around with horses as a young teenager. And then we moved down the shore to Seabright, New Jersey. And I went to college in Pennsylvania at Wilson College in Chambersburg. And I got a degree in philosophy. And then I thought, oh my goodness, well, what kind of job will I get if I'm,
philosophy, lots of jobs for philosophy, right?
Yeah, right. Well, I did get a job since I had an English minor. I did get a job in Homedale, New Jersey at the Bell Labs, which was a Bell telephone research company. And then I found a job in Washington, D.C. At another Bell telephone company, and I was a technical editor on the Apollo project, which, if you remember the space project back then when they were first launching men to the moon. So it was in Washington that I met my husband, and he's a physician. And we moved, he was doing a residency in Dallas, so we moved to Dallas. And we raised two children, two boys, and with a degree in philosophy, I was very interested as a mother in reading something more than how to make peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and run a carpool.
How exciting.
Yes, most of the time.
Yeah.
And so I came upon a book by Alice Bailey, and I entered the wonderful world of what's called the ancient wisdom teachings, which is an ancient philosophy and science tradition about humanity, the beginnings of humanity, and the spiritual life of humanity. And I was reading there, and I was running carpools and reading, and burned a lot of dishes at dinner time because I was fascinated by the subject of this ageless wisdom teachings, in which there are perfected beings who we call the saints, or the masters of wisdom, the communion of saints, who oversee humanity and stimulate the advances that we make in science and the discoveries we make in music and education. So anything that has been progressively helpful in the development of humanity has been inspired by one of these great beings. They are inspiring us all the time. So it's interesting to think that if you wonder how come a discovery can be made in 2 or 3 places in the world at the same time, and that tells you that the individuals who make the discovery are open enough to new information, that they are in a lab or somewhere and they say, I have this idea and I'm going to see where it takes me. And that's how inspiration works in many cases. Musical inspiration, artistic inspiration, probably in helping your children learn to sew. You're looking for inspiration. So these we call the masters of wisdom. And
so what I hear you saying is that we're not alone, first of all.
That's right.
And that we have messengers, angels, beings. Like the one I'm familiar with is the Palladians. Now, how do they fit? Do you know about the Palladians?
I'm familiar with the names, and that they reside out in the cosmos on a different star.
Okay.
But I'm talking now about these masters are from our humanity, our evolution, our spiritual evolution. They are not from other planets. They arise out of humanity, and in fact, they are examples for which of the path that we will ourselves take as we evolve spiritually. And that means we broaden our consciousness, we learn and get inspiration from higher sources, and we learn to love each other. These masters are nothing but love, and they come and have always been here behind the scenes to guide us and to will keep us from ruining our planet and ourselves, which we are working fast toward, I'm afraid, right now. But
Now, Betsy, let me just stop you for a minute because you did say you were raised Catholic.
yes.
And how do you feel today about the teachings of the Catholic Church versus what you're telling us now? Because, not very religious talking here. We're moving into a whole nother realm of education. And I just want our audience to be able to transition with us from religious thinking. So how does your Catholic background fit into what you, or not, to what you believe and are experiencing today?
Well, one of these masters is the Master Jesus, which all Christians understand and aspire to a relationship with Jesus. And so it is really a transition to a more esoteric view of Catholicism. Many, and this is what I found out when I was in college. I went to a Presbyterian college, and I, as a Catholic, would go to confession in the village where the college was. And when I was asked, do I go to the college up the street? I said yes, and the priest said that was a Presbyterian college, and I had no business being there, and that if I didn't leave, I would be excommunicated.
Oh my!
And that's what I thought. And so by that time in college, I had read all the philosophers, and I understood that there were different perspectives, ways of thinking, different ideas. And I didn't think of it as anti-Catholic, but when I was presented with the alternative of excommunication, I said, well, I just don't think I'm going to come back here.
Good for you. Good. Now, what did your parents or your family think as you started exploring these new things?
No, they were very liberal. They didn't push any dogmas on us. Obviously have a conscience and do right things and all, but they were very liberal and didn't get involved in my transition. However, I must say that since all these years, I have studied not only the esoteric wisdom, the ageless wisdom teachings, but I still go to church with my children, one of whom is a devout Catholic, on Christmas when they come to visit. And I must say, the energy in the church is so profound that I weep. As soon as I get in the door, I start weeping. And the Master Jesus is there in the church. He is in all the churches because he is the leader of the Christian churches, no matter where they are found. So the Master Jesus, that is his job. He is back. He is living among us, and he is inspiring the regeneration of the Christian churches to drop some of the dogmas that have caused such division, and to inspire the people, the Christians, to come back to a pure Christian attitude, to teach and to heal. And eventually, I know this is controversial and I don't expect anyone to agree with it, but I'm just saying eventually the churches will change and there will be less punishment and more love. And I think maybe that is beginning to occur now anyway. But
well, yeah, so, I think with what we're witnessing in the Middle East, the horror of war,
yes,
on YouTube and everywhere in social media, I believe, my belief is this, that Yeshua, I call Jesus Yeshua, is the spirit of truth. And what we're seeing, the propaganda about war on both sides, in fact, I believe the spirit of truth is rising, which is Yeshua. And I'm not, I don't say, I wouldn't disagree with you that Christ is not in the church today. That would make you weak, because there's a transformation going on, maybe in the churches, in the mind. I believe Yeshua the Christ is coming forward in the minds of people,
Yes.
because of what the horror that we're witnessing that man is inflicting on other humans. We need a spirit of truth like the Messiah to come forth. And I think that's what I hear you saying, is when you go in the church, that spirit is present.
It is there for me. It's so powerful that I can barely, I usually have to wear dark glasses. I'm so embarrassed that I sit there and just weep. And it fills me with such joy, and yet the tears come. So that for me is, again, an experience of the Master Jesus. I have in my house, I have a self-portrait in light of Jesus that came, it was a miraculous thing, appeared on the wall in my stairwell just in, let's see, it was 2013 when we invaded Iraq. It appeared there. And I took it to really a very nice man, Benjamin Krem, whose material reflects all of Maitreya's teachings and the Master Jesus. And he asked his master, he is in touch with one of those masters, and said it was indeed the Master Jesus. So in spirit, in energy, the Master Jesus is very much present in the world. Interestingly enough, in 2023, in February, you may not know this, but there is an Asbury University down in Kentucky where on a Friday chapel, the students heard their football coach give their regular Friday talk. And when he got off the stage, the students did not leave. They stayed there, and they apparently felt incredible love energy, and they stayed there for 19 days. There was what they call a revival at this university. Now, these were Gen Z children who are, I think, very special. They have seen it all. They have lived, I think, very difficult lives in terms of the turmoil in this country. And they felt the love of God for all those days. In fact, the New York Times wrote an article about it. The Atlantic wrote an article about it. And if anyone wants to look it up, they can simply Google Asbury University Revival, and you'll see all the articles about it. So Jesus is here and working through the churches.
Well, not just the churches, but the schools and universities. I mean, look at the protests on all the campuses this year. Yeah. Now, you said that revival took place in 2023, right?
Yes, that's right.
That could have been the beginning of the awakening and consciousness rising in these students, is how I see it.
I think so, because it apparently went viral on the internet. As you know, the children are always on the internet.
TikTok.
Yeah, yes. It went viral, and it spread. And there were other universities, Baptist, Methodist, Episcopalian, who had the same experience. These were Christian universities. So you can see how this would spread, and it would also be expressed in the anti-war, pro-Palestinian protests that we have today. So the the United States, and this is probably true around the world, is alive with this spirit of God. Let's put it that way, with this sense of spirituality. And Maitreya, who is the leader of this group of masters, is not a religious teacher. He's a teacher for all of humanity. But as I say, one of his disciples is the Master Jesus. And Maitreya is the teacher for this new age called the Age of Aquarius, which sometimes people talk about. And the energies of Aquarius are the energies of synthesis and coming together and brotherhood. They will inspire us to, for the first time in history, become demonstrating our spiritual nature, that humanity is essentially a spiritual being. And that has to do with the soul. Each of us has that spark of the divine within. And this is what Maitreya teaches. And he will show humanity that fact. And he will inspire all humanity, whether you're a Christian, a Muslim, a Buddhist, whatever, all of humanity, or nothing at all of humanity, to rebuild the world on the basis of sharing resources so that everyone has the basic necessities of life and can develop his or her innate spirituality.
Now, where did you first hear or know about Maitreya?
Maitreya? Yes, it was in about 1985, and I, between carpools, that was the beginning of the New Age craze. Between carpools, I would hang out at a bookstore that had a New Age section. And I found a book called The Reappearance of the Christ and the Masters of Wisdom. And I found it very compelling. So I bought it and I began to read it. At the same time, I was keeping a dream journal. And as I was reading this book, I had a dream where a tall man in a robe, among others, came to me and said, would I do the heart-to-heart in my village? And I think I must have said, sure, what can I do to help?
Why not? Why not?
Why not? Yeah. And so then it was a while after that I saw that Benjamin Creme, who I spoke of earlier, was giving a talk about Maitreya. Now, Creme's whole point in his method and his mission was to introduce the fact that Maitreya had come back, he has returned, and who he is and what he is teaching to humanity today. So I decided I would go and hear his lecture in California. So I went there, and it was at a lovely little chapel called St. Michael's by the Sea, and it was packed. The church was packed. And Benjamin Creme walked from the back up to the stage and just sat in a chair facing the audience. Now, I should say that before all this, in my dream, I saw the face of this man who asked me, would I do the heart-to-heart for my village? And as Benjamin Creme looked over the audience, he would go eye to eye and look at each person in the audience. When he came to me, his face disappeared, and the face of the man in my dream appeared there. And I don't know what happened, but when I realized, when I came to, so to speak, I was grinning so hard that my cheeks hurt, but there were tears coming down my cheeks. And the light was fantastic, and I had the most amazing feeling of overwhelming love from this image. And so later I talked to Krem about that, and he said, well, at his meetings, and this happens to a number of people, a lot of people, that that Maitreya overshadows him. Overshadows is a special technical thing where and it's traditional that the great teachers who have not been physically on the planet themselves work through a student, like the Buddha worked through his disciple, the Prince Gautama, who became Gautama Buddha for a period of time in order to teach culturally the people that were to be taught. So these great teachers are very broad, they are very high, and so they use their disciples to teach the teaching in the cultural way that the people can understand it. You understand that?
Yeah.
So Maitreya overshadowed the Master Jesus in Palestine. And Jesus, for the last 3 years of Jesus's life, he became Jesus Christ. Now, the word Christ simply means the love of God. Maitreya is a highly evolved being who physically embodies the energy of God, of love, the second aspect of God, which is love. And he distributes that love throughout the planet every day. So, what I am saying is that this teaching is enormously hopeful for humanity. If people will open to the possibility of higher inspiration, and their teaching is not anything that most religious people don't already know. In other words, do good, serve your brothers and sisters, love each other. That's basically still the same, it never changes. But now we have the possibility of direct experience of this incredible love energy.
And as we were talking about the sacred geometry earlier, this can tie into the fact that the invisible world is probably more important now in our life, because how many people have seen Maitreya or even talked to him? That I wanted to ask you too, have you ever channeled any of these beings?
No, the only way that they deal with their disciples is a telepathy. So it's not actually channeling. And I don't know. I think I am inspired by Maitreya on occasion. I have seen healings that have been done at our request in my group. After requesting from Maitreya. So there is definitely, in my view, for me, a connection there. But it does not exclude any other pathway you see towards expressing spirituality. As Maitreya says, if you're a Buddhist, be a good Buddhist. If you're a Muslim, be a good Muslim. If you're a Christian, be a good Christian. And it doesn't matter, because all of those traditions, and even the non-religious traditions, teach that we must love each other, take care of each other, and be good, you know?
Well, we've got some people in our audience who want to comment. I have someone in the studio, but let me go to Naima Latif's comment here on Facebook. Naima Latif is our executive producer of the Female Solution, and she says, it's my understanding that higher evolved beings put the idea of, and I can't even read this, put the idea or intention Oh no, the idea of an invention into the atmosphere, and those who are attuned to the higher frequency will pick it up. That's why several people will get the inspiration for an invention simultaneously. So I think you would agree with that. That's what you were saying earlier, right?
Definitely, definitely. And it's really wonderful because it means that there is hope, whether it's new discoveries in science, new art forms, that there's such beauty available to humanity through the those who can reach high enough to bring it down. And if people would simply be good to one another, love one another, do service to one another, and love God, they will grow to be able to be inspired at that level also. This is a highly democratic process, and that humanity as a group will express for the first time its spiritual nature in the everyday world. That is what the new age of Aquarius promises. But first, people have to know about it. They have to realize and open to this inspiration. And that's why we talk about it.
Absolutely. Here we've got a caller in the Blog Talk studio with their hand up. So let me open up the mic to 111-111. Your mic is open. Give us your name, please, where you're calling from.
Yes, this is Brother Mike from Singapore. Hi, how are you tonight?
I'm good. You said from Singapore?
Yes.
Yes.
My name is Mike. And thank you for taking my call. And can I have your name and her name, please?
My name is Viata, and my guest is Betsy Whitfill.
Okay, Lindsay. Okay, Viata and Lindsay. Okay, I want to know, are you talking about the same Maitreya that came in South Africa, I believe, and in the stadium? Is this is your website the same Maitreya.org or something like that? Are you with Benjamin, the spokesperson for Maitreya? Is that the same Maitreya you are talking about?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. I know we have information that one time Benjamin was talking to, Coast to Coast AM, and the person who invited him, I just forgot his name, and he's from Beirut as well too. He used to be in Beirut. He born in Beirut, but he has a great show, Coast to Coast. And so I know that when Benjamin was talking to him, the gentleman, after sometimes half an hour, he got a so bad headache that he had to ask Benjamin to come back next time. He could not do the show. Is this the same one, right?
That's the same Maitreya that we're talking about. Yes.
So interesting.
He teaches. He teaches that oneness of mankind. He teaches unity in diversity. He teaches a lot of saying. I understand. But my question is, you said before that Maitreya doesn't physically live in the planet, but he comes and goes. So, can you give us a better information that, how, who, if the world wants to see him, if the world leaders want to see him and say, okay, Maitreya, please give us the solution. We don't want any Ukraine war. We don't want, Middle East war or China war or etc. how can he bring peace to the world then, please? Go ahead.
Well, we must bring peace to the world. Maitreya is a teacher and shows the way, but we, humanity, has to do the work. Now, many world leaders have already met Maitreya. I think it was in 1990. We had a meeting in the outskirts of London with heads of government. The King of Jordan was there. There were reporters from major media there. And he had invited, and they came, all of the major heads of government that he had appeared to and consulted with previously over the several years preceding that meeting. And the reason was he wanted them all to meet each other so that they would feel comfortable with each other talking about this, because many people feel very uncomfortable talking about this, especially heads of government. So that meeting occurred, and Benjamin Creme published an article about it in his magazine, which is Share International Magazine. And several media journalists wrote articles about it, but their editors refused to publish it. This has been, this is why you don't hear any more about this, this return of the Christ, Maitreya. In the major press, it is anathema. They will not cover it. I have myself offered to talk to my local public television station about this, and they have told me they will not cover this story. So yes, this Maitreya has appeared to many millions of people know about it. He has appeared to many people.
Okay, but you see, in something, I think I have read your information before. I'm familiar with Maitreya. I think they said that he lives in United Kingdom, or where he is right now, please.
Well,
is it planet, or is he?
His abode is in the Himalayas. And he, in July of 1977, he left his abode in the Himalayas and flew into London to begin his mission as teacher for this new age of Aquarius. Every age has its teacher. In the past age of Pisces, Jesus was the teacher. And now Maitreya has come himself. So he flew into London and resides with his people in the Muslim section of London. But he can be in many places at once. So his consciousness has built a body. I know this sounds bizarre, but trust me.
I was going to ask you.
he at that level, the masters can build a physical body and use it to teach, to serve humanity. So he has been living, quote, living in London, but his consciousness is still in the Himalayas.
And it has to be all over the planet, because how is he going to get this message, this needed message, out to the whole world? Well, thank you for that comment, that question. We've got another caller here who has a comment or a question.
Can I be with you? I have a few other questions as well, but go ahead, bring somebody else.
Okay.
Let us have
all right. If we have
dialogue with each other.
Okay, if we have time, we'll open your mic again. Go ahead, 706-202. Your mic is open.
Good evening, Sister Viata, and good evening to your guest, the Representative Maitreya. And I'm driving back from Mississippi and I'm on the road, but it's a very interesting conversation. And it's also the time in that if you read and when she was saying that he could be in many places at any time, if you read the book Autobiography of a Yogi, and it shows that his teacher was able to do that same thing in which she's saying that Maitreya can do, in that having the frequency to change his spirit and to be in many places in speaking or doing the work. We're in a new place in our Milky Way galaxy. And we're having this movement from this 2,120 years of Pisces into Aquarius. Also, what we're having is that Pluto and these planetary alignments are changing. You were talking about the frequencies and the geometry. The frequencies is what formulates the sacred geometry. And we are now in alignment with planets in our Kuiper belt, which are in appearance in them 11,400 years, 700 years. These planets are now in alignment with the frequency of our Earth. And these are the energies of changing the consciousness, even to the point where the sun and its maximum just recently did the coronal mass ejections to bring the Earth's magnetic field into power, to bring it all the way down to Florida, where you are, Beata. And so these frequencies are activating these special ones that it is now time for them to come down from those mountains and come from those sacred places in order to transmit the frequencies that have activated them in the new consciousness of our evolution. And so I'm grateful that she's sharing this, because we have to understand that this is something that divine intelligence, even if we're using artificial intelligence to talk about it, divine intelligence is in charge of what the frequency of change is going to be.
Absolutely. And be careful out there, Kwame's son. That's Kwame's son, Horace. He's one of our elder teachers who shares wisdom and knowledge all the time with the female solution. So, Betsy, what's your comment about that?
Well, I agree 100%. Yes, he articulated it very well. So yes, this is an extraordinary time of change, and so many people are upset and they want it to be like it used to be, whatever that is, and it will never be back. We will not go back. We must build the future of humanity, and divine intelligence is inspiring people to do that. And so they, interestingly, talking about people from other planets and the other planets, there is a video on Facebook about an international missile being deactivated by a spaceship. And Benjamin Krem had said that Maitreya had said there would be no World War III, and that the men from Mars and Venus mostly who come to this planet, and some of them live with us on this planet, will see to it that nuclear Armageddon will not occur, that we will go right up to the edge, but they will not allow the Earth to be destroyed.
Yeah, we're right at the edge. We're certainly at the edge, because Russia is threatening their submarine. I saw something on Rumble or Telegram. Russia is moving a submarine near Cuba.
Yes.
Nuclear submarine near Cuba. So if you're talking about being on the edge, we're there.
Yes.
Because they're the countries that, like Russia, that are being attacked by NATO and all this, he's threatening nuclear. What else can he do but threaten nuclear weapons to protect and defend their country and all that? So, wow, it's Maitreya.
The Bay of Pigs, when Kennedy.
Yeah, Bay of Pigs.
It's all over again. The Bay of Pigs, remember?
Yeah, of course. So yeah, we're seeing it repeated, but like Betsy said, we're Maitreya said we're on the edge. We're not. It's not going to happen. The Bible talks about wars and rumors of wars. We have been in this cycle for so long that thank goodness the generation Z, I think you were talking about earlier, is rising up to say no more wars. We have to change this political scene. This capitalism's not working. The younger generation is really on the move and pushing forward to make real changes that some of the older generation are afraid to make, I think. And it would take beings like Maitreya and even as Naima is saying here, that Yeshua and many other ascended masters have already given us the solution to end war and poverty. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. It's our own fault if we don't follow the instructions. You have a comment on that, Betsy?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Well, the Gen Z generation and those, we talked a little bit about the revival experiences that so many are having, uh, uh, are leading the way for the other youngsters. The youngsters are having a terrible time now. Many of them who do not have a expression of, they don't realize they're spiritual beings. They can't see a future for themselves. They get into drugs. There's all of this that goes on. And so what we're hoping is that this will, all of this information will open the doors to increased spiritual guidance for everyone, depend in their own language, so to speak. Interestingly enough, there is a video about a man in who's a Hamas person in the Middle East somewhere, and he was in prison, and a man came to visit him in prison right through the door and said, "It's time for you to go home." And he laughed and he said, "How can I go home? I'm in prison." And at that point, several of his guards came with guns and they were poking at him, just torturing him. And so all of a sudden, they started fighting amongst themselves. And the door was open. The man walked out and went home. And when he said it was Yeshua, that was the name of the man who visited him, which is another name for Jesus, of course.
Right, right.
And when he went home, he knocked on his front door. His wife said, "Oh, you're finally here." And he said, "What do you mean? I've just ran out of prison." She said, "Well, I knew you were coming."
Right, right.
So this is all occurring. We don't even know half of the inspiration and the healing and the good things that are happening. So
Well,
yeah.
I don't think it's a coincidence that Rapha is the Hebrew word that means the God who heals. It's means healing. So what you just explained or expressed about the leader or this person with Hamas getting out of prison, that's a healing of sorts. So how many of those stories have we not heard about that are happening and ongoing, miracles everywhere in that turmoil and chaos that we don't hear? But Rapha is in the news every day. That word that means healing. Every day we're hearing Rapha, so we can think healing. Oh, healing's taking place. And so thanks to Maitreya and other beings who are working to wake us all up, the healing is taking place, but we just don't see it like we would like to see it.
Yes. Well, on Twitter, X, I guess it's called now, and sometimes on Facebook, and I'm sure on TikTok, although I'm not on those. I think those videos are there. I know I have saved 2 of them on my computer, and it's very compelling and very, very hopeful. And these men say, I don't want to be a bad man, but I had to because, they'd kill me if I didn't go with them. So this is happening, and it is time for humanity to come together. I think it's a little early for unity, but it may be that if things get bad enough people will call for God's help. And when they call in large enough numbers and are willing to listen, Maitreya and the Master Jesus will openly appear and will, according to Benjamin Creme, will appear on the connected internet television, the satellite television, and Maitreya will present his credentials, tell people who he is. He will give everyone an experience of divine love. Many people will be healed, but this cannot happen unless humanity asks for it, because we have free will, of course. So it's so helpful to have these discussions. Thank you so much for allowing this to be heard.
Well, now tell us a little bit about Share International. I believe you're a board member. What
Yeah.
is that? What are they doing, and what are they all about?
Well, it's a nonprofit. It's a 501(c). We're all volunteers. Nobody gets paid. And we present this information in our outreach projects to most anyone who will listen. There is a magazine called Share International Magazine that prints pictures and stories of miracles that happen all over the world, plus some of the good things that people and groups are doing to help one another, to save the planet, and that sort of thing. So we have a website. It's called share-international.us. And on that website is all the information that we've been talking about. And I think there are maybe 14 or 15 books that Benjamin Creme hasn't written himself, but they are created out of all his lectures, including questions and answers from the audience. And one of them is called Maitreya's Mission, and it details Maitreya's thinking, his mission for humanity. It also discusses the evolution of consciousness, which is, as your caller mentioned, is now occurring among humanity. So those are all resources that people can research.
Okay, and we have one more comment from our executive producer who says, have we reached the tipping point of more enlightened souls are on the earth that have changed our timeline away from World War III to a new timeline of peace?
I believe we have. Now, Benjamin Creme had been asked, he died in 2016, but he had been asked several times over the years how many people are ready, all of that sort of thing. And he has said there are literally billions of people who have heard this, who are interested, who want to see Maitreya, and certainly would like help from above. So yes, I think it is coming. Now the masters meet in the year 2025. They meet every quarter of a century, and the next year in the spring, I think, is when they'll meet. They will make decisions that will be energetically manifest throughout the next 100 years. So we will probably, in my opinion, see tremendous changes in attitude coming up to 2025 and immediately thereafter, I think.
Hallelujah. That's exciting because and it is happening in the hearts and minds of people the way I see it. More and more people are speaking the peace that we want to see and hear.
Yes.
So yeah, it is happening slowly, but we have to be patient and just continue to be the love that we all desire.
That's
Uh,
right.
I was trying to bring up the song Unity that my son, that brought him to tears, um, and we might be able to hear it. Uh, I don't think it's going to show up, AJ Leonaris. But any final words for our audience, Betsy?
Well,
You got a,
you have a few minutes. Yeah.
yeah.
I just want people to understand that I speak from my experience.
Go ahead.
That I speak from my own experience. I am not the only one who has had these experiences. And I hope that people will visit the website if they are interested in doing some background research on this whole story. Uh, and I hope they will be made hopeful because they have heard this story, as I am hopeful.
Oh, I think you're making such a big difference, not just here, but in the world. That yes, this is a divine meeting, and as we said, divine intelligence is ruling today. So I'm excited for what's about to happen and what is happening. I heard a channeler, Amadeus. Have you ever heard Amadeus?
The songwriter. That's all. I
Well,
don't.
this guy was channeling Amadeus, and he was speaking about the war in the Middle East, and he was saying that this conflict is thousands of years. It goes back thousands of years.
Yes.
That this is a family feud, and that we need to just stay out of it. Tell our government, basically, that's what I feel is our government. I wish they could stay out of it, but it's so complex uh, as to the politics and the industrial military involvement and the Zionists and so much more, that a message like you're bringing is so needed to help us think higher and the realize that this is multidimensional in its context, whatever,
Yeah.
and we really can't get caught up in the third dimension, because what we've been talking about tonight is more fourth dimensional reality of who we are, where we are, and that's where I want to be focused more and more, not this third dimension war, chaos, and disease.
Yes.
I so appreciate you bringing this reminder of our transition to a fourth, from the out of the third into the fourth. That's what this journey is really all about.
Yes, and Maitreya and Share International and Benjamin Krem have all said that the Middle East problem will only be settled once Maitreya comes out. This is an extraordinary avatar. I mean, you will not believe the experience he gives. I don't see how anyone having experienced that love could do anything else but say, yes, whatever you want, I'll do it, no matter what. It's beautiful.
Absolutely. Absolutely. That's what it's all about. Saying yes to love. Saying yes to love and no to hate and conflict and fear. And that's what I do on Friday. I'm really reminding my audience that the fear campaign is on.
Yes.
And they're going to try and put everyone in the fear of a disease or a flu or whatever. And it's knowledge that we got gained tonight that can help us stay out of fear.
Yes, there is no reason to fear. None at all. God is with you.
Yeah. And that's the reminder. Thank you so much, Betsy, and all love and appreciation to you and your family. And you'll have to come back and give us an update in the future because things are going to be changing.
Yes, they will. I'd be happy to.
So whenever you're ready, you have my email, and just send me an email or a message, and we'll make it happen. We've got to keep. I think we have to keep the momentum going with this type of message, and that's why I'm always grateful for guests like you, who can keep us in a higher dimension.
Yes, yes.
So. Thank you. We are the Female Solution will be on tomorrow morning. We have Zelda, who is our Monday morning mindfulness host. I'm trying to see what her topic is. I don't see her topic, but Zelda, join us tomorrow morning. I think she sent me a message. For Zelda, are you practicing summer self-care? Okay, that's tomorrow morning on the Female Solution. Are you practicing summer self-care? So join her on Monday morning mindfulness higher learning. And Juan is sending us a heart. I believe that's a heart. I can't. This is a small. Oh, it's a happy, a smiley face. Thank you, Juan. So have a great week, a great life, and much love to you. We're going to say goodbye to our global family now with a video that speaks the language of love, the language of gratitude.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, zhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, Ngiyabonga. Senegal, Jaref. Kenya, Asante. Israel, Toda. Pakistan, Shukriya. Afghanistan, Tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, Shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.
And to all my yogi friends out there, namaste, sat nam, and aloha, aloha to all my friends in Hawaii. Stand strong. We're with you, sending much love. Shalom.